I mean, look at these things. Look at them. This, I mean, what do you think I'm making? What do you think these are?
Definitely looks like calamari.
So there is a lot of different plant-based calamaris out there, and recently I have been seeing people making the coconut calamari. You season it up right, fry it, it's probably gonna have that texture that's resemblance of calamari. But one thing about the king oyster mushroom is that when it's seasoned and cooked properly, that it could also have a very seafoody-like type of texture. Now, besides those two, which are the most popular, there's a lot of different versions out there, from tofu or just people making up their own things. But I'm also kind of wondering, what about lotus root? Lotus root has some pretty cool characteristics when it's cooked, so I'm wondering if it could be a good calamari replacement. But we're gonna season them all the same and then fry them and see which one has a better calamari taste. Now I'm gonna have Monica taste it. Monica is a pescatarian, so she eats seafood all the time. So let's get going. This is gonna be really easy. So like I said, we're gonna prep these all pretty similar, but the first one that we're gonna prep is the coconut because it's gonna take a little bit, it's gonna take the most work. Most young green coconuts that you're gonna buy are gonna come just like this. They're gonna come out of their coconut, the big shell. So the first thing that you wanna do is just kind of start at the top and peel away this outside skin. You'll get to a almost like wood-like skin on the inside. Now, if you've never done this before, it does take a little bit of practice. I've opened these a few times when I made the coconut bacon, but just you wanna start off, there's usually 3 points on your coconut, and you wanna start off using the heel of your knife, very cautiously hit that corner. And then all you're gonna do is just work your knife all the way around the coconut. So then once you get all the way around, you'll see that you kind of crack in, get this top off. Perfect. And if we did it well enough, you can see this meat that we have right here, which is just gonna be so good for calamari. Another one of the benefits of this is the coconut water that you're gonna get. And coconut water is also delicious. This is super refreshing, filled with vitamins. I love it. So I'm just gonna put my meat all here on the side. Now, if we're lucky, we might be able to take a spoon and peel all the way around the inside and remove most of this meat without having to open the coconut wide up. Now, I've seen other people open the coconut all the way up. It's not really necessary because, I mean, we're just looking to get as big a pieces as we can. But all I'm gonna do is just kind of slightly scrape the skin to remove any of like the shell bits that we don't want. And that should just come right off, no problem. I'm gonna do some longer ones, some smaller ones, just calamari size, thin strips. You can see what I'm doing here. So the coconut's prepped, let's move on to the mushroom. Now the mushroom is gonna be pretty simple. We're gonna cut off our cap. Now we're gonna save our caps for just another recipe. And then we're just gonna cut these guys into rings. And I'm only gonna do about a 1/4 inch. Now I'm just using the cap off of a bottle. If you have like something sharp, now it needs to be sharp. It can't be something that's not very sharp. It has to be pretty sharp. We're just gonna wring out the center of these. I'm just using the cap off of my olive oil. And this is gonna work pretty well to create a little ring. If you have a donut hole punch, it's probably gonna work just as good, but now we're not gonna be using the little punched pieces for this recipe, so it's totally up to you what you do with them, but don't waste. I'm gonna save these. These are gonna fry up really good in dinner tonight. So next up is the lotus root. Now for the lotus root, I have a bowl of cold water. I'm gonna do just a sprinkle, a squeeze of lemon juice. Now I'm gonna save this lemon because we're gonna be using it in a little bit. Now I'm just gonna use a speed peeler and just peel the outside of this. I'm gonna do it pretty quick because the lotus root will discolor. Now the lotus root is super cool. We're gonna do about the same sizes as we did the mushrooms, about a 1/4 inch slices. I'm gonna be moving very quick with this. I'm gonna try to do the same thing with the cap. I believe it should work. Yeah, looks like it did. I mean, that should be pretty good. So for the most part, the mushroom and coconut can be seasoned and flavored at this point. But we're gonna do them all together, like I said. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna poach this lotus root. Poaching it is gonna take it from its very kind of stringy, fibrous, crunchy texture to more of a chewy. I'm just gonna add a touch of vinegar. This is like a rice vinegar, it's fine. Now that the water's boiling, we're just gonna drop these guys in just for a few minutes, probably about 3 to 5 minutes. Now, if you end up using the lotus root to make this, a lot of times, if you go to the Asian market, you'll find a pre-sliced, already poached lotus root. Okay, just to try to soften these guys up more, I kind of let them simmer a little bit longer in the boiling water because they're just not softening up as much as I thought they would. So we're gonna take them right from the boiling water into an ice cold water bath. Let these guys soak in that ice cold water. And again, I'm just gonna squeeze some lemon juice in there. We just gotta keep that pH up. It's also gonna kind of help the flavor of these things, get them a little bit more fish-like. So at this point, I'm gonna do my marinade. Now, for the marinade, I'm gonna do all three. So I'm gonna use about a half a lemon each, so a lemon and a half for the three here. I'm gonna do about a cup of some rice wine vinegar, about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon and a half of sea salt. My favorite sea adding ingredient, some kelp granules. And the last, just to give it that touch of familiarity, we're gonna add some Old Bay. So just pour these guys, coat your mushrooms. Now I know there's a lot of recipes that don't do this. They just kind of move right on to the breading and frying, but that's not a vegan calamari. That's just a fried mushroom. So at this point, these guys are all covered with the seasonings. Let them sit for at least an hour to 2 hours. We'll come right back and fry these guys. Okay, so at this point, I have my cast iron skillet. It's filled up about an inch and a half of I think right now I'm using like a vegetable oil. So just use a vegetable oil or whatever oil you're comfortable in frying with. Now I'm gonna make 2 batters. I'm gonna make like a wet batter and a dry batter, or like a wet dipping, kind of, not really 2 batters, but like a wet dipping thing to kind of help the batter stick. To do this, I'm gonna create an egg replacer, but we're not gonna mix the egg replacer like you normally would. We're gonna mix it very thin. We're gonna be doing 2 tablespoons of egg replacer to about 1.5 cups of water. We want it pretty milky. So really at this point, I'm just gonna eyeball the dry batter. It's just gonna be flour and a few seasonings. I mean, I did probably, it's about 1 cup, I would say, of flour. And then just to make it easy for today, because I just wanna see which one tastes like calamari, I'm gonna use a little bit of Old Bay. I'm gonna add just a bit more garlic powder. And I'm also gonna add like an Italian style parsley to this. So the first thing that we're gonna start off with is our mushroom calamari. I'm gonna dip it in the wet, right from the wet into the dry, and that should be perfect, and then right into the hot oil, and then we're just gonna repeat. Now we're just gonna let these guys fry up until they're a nice golden, crispy color. Shouldn't take that long, just a few minutes. Once they're done, we're just gonna throw them on the rack and then move on to the next one. So we're gonna have these separated from mushroom, coconut, and the lotus root. Kind of thinking that the mushroom and coconut are gonna be better. The lotus root didn't come out as soft as I was hoping it would. I mean, honestly, if we're just rating these by look, mushroom already wins. So like I said, all we're gonna do is repeat the step. I'm gonna whisk up like the egg batter, the wet batter, to make sure all of that's mixed in, and then we're gonna fry all of this together. Oh, this is gonna be so good, so good. This is such an easy recipe. I mean, and look at these. I would think that was calamari. I can't wait to try it. This, I mean, what do you think I'm making? What do you think these are?
Definitely looks like calamari.
So we have our mushroom calamari, our lotus root, which actually looks like it could be a contender, coconut. I don't know if that looks like a calamari or not, but kind of looks like a calamari. Let's start with the coconut. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's good.
It's good. I don't know if I'd mistake it for calamari.
Okay.
This one's very close.
The mushroom has more of the chew, definite like seafood flavor. Could you mistake this one for calamari? Mm-hmm. Lotus root. Now you just like lotus root naturally.
I do, yeah. I love it. It's good, but mushroom wins.
I think this is good. I mean, it definitely is chewier than all of them. And honestly, calamari does have some meat to it.
Yeah, this is very close too. They're all really good. I would go mushroom, lotus root, then coconut.
Coconut is just a bit too soft to be a calamari. Thank you, baby. Yeah, I think the big thing is they all have like a really nice flavor. And the coconut actually does have like a really good kind of like, it has like a coconut flavor to it. But I think that would normally be like an addition. But as far as like being able to mistake that, the meat is just not there enough. It's just coconut's just too soft. It's good though. They're easy to make. That is my plant-based calamari showdown. These little mushroom ones though, dang, they're close. I honestly think you could fool people with this. If they ordered calamari and you brought this out, I don't think they would second guess. Yeah. I don't think they would second guess that as a calamari. It has a little bit of the fishiness to it, not much, it's really mild. But dang, it is good. But that's it, that's what I got. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please make sure you click the subscribe button and click this video right here. It's gonna be my fish videos.